Hey everybody. So for today's lab, you're going to be constructing depth first and breadth first search trees. In order to do this, you'll be using a new system which we've just developed, which lets you draw these graphs and then lets you check if they're correct. This is the first time they'll be in use, so it's possible that there'll be some issues with it, but hopefully not. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is you have to download graph specifications for the questions that you're going to be solving. Okay, now if you look on the screen, there's one there called graph DFS example. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is download that one, and it's gonna save somewhere. Then we go to the site for the graph drawing program, which is listed here. So we click on it, it takes us to the graph generator interface. And then we've got this choose file button, which we use to select the file we just downloaded. And we click load graph. And then, okay, sometimes you have to click it twice. I'm not sure why. You can just click it twice to see the edges there, right? So this graph that's shown here is sort of your answer sheet, right? The problem is you haven't seen the question yet. In order to see the question, click draw edges. Okay, now this is the original graph, right? This is the graph that forms the question. And you can see over here, it says the question type is a depth first search. Okay, so what that's saying is you're going to need to perform a depth first search on this graph. So basically create a depth first search tree. And the root vertex is the one that's listed in red. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open another tab and put the same link in there. I'm going to load the file the same as before, and I have to load it twice for some reason. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually construct the depth first search tree from this on paper. Okay, so I'm going to figure out what the correct answer is first, right, using a pencil and paper. Then I'm going to use this interface to record what my answer is. Okay, so let's try answering the question. Pretend I've done this on paper earlier. And basically, you can see I'm just adding the edges. This one goes from vertex 2 to vertex 6, say. And I'm just adding it. Okay, vertex 4 to 5. And vertex 5 to 0. Okay, now I've got a tree, so I'm going to click check. Okay, and it tells me, oh, my answer is incorrect. What that means is that the tree I drew here wasn't a valid depth first search tree of this graph. So I gotta go back to my pen and paper and figure out what I did wrong. And when I figure it out, I'm going to change this graph so that it has the edges that I think it should. I'm gonna click check. Now it says your answer is correct. So that means that I've successfully constructed a depth first search tree from the given graph. Okay, so the cool thing about it is that you can immediately see what you're doing. Okay, we're working on a marking system for this so that we'll be using the same interface in tests and in the online exam at the end of the year. So, you know, be sure that you understand how to use it, and, you know, make sure you use it to solve the problems given this week, because next week, the ones that you're given, you'll have to hand in using the same interface, basically. Okay, thank you, everybody.